Hey guys, welcome back to Tears of the Storm. Today I want to bring you a game I played earlier today. Played it as Uther. I want to talk about Uther a little bit, and I want to preview or show you the new Uther skin and the tint, which not a lot of people seem to be running actually, the blue tint. Anyway, yeah, I just want to talk about Uther. I just want to talk about the state of the game, more particularly Uther and kind of how supports are at the moment. So, Uther, if you don't know who he is, he's a healer. He's one of the kind of OG healers. He has 2 heals in his kit, which makes him considerably stronger than quite a lot of other heroes. 2 direct heals in terms of the overall healing that he can just put out. They are on considerable cooldowns, 12 seconds each. And he has a stun, which makes him good in the early game if you want to score some roams. And it just kind of scales out of control into the late game, so you can really secure kills that you otherwise wouldn't get. So the problem with Uther, and the problem with quite a lot of supports at the moment, is they're really, really good in very specific situations. And Uther's very specific situation is if you have a tank that's solid enough that he's not going to die incredibly quickly, and I mean the likes of Leoric or Muradin or Johanna or someone like that, someone who's really going to take a lot of punishment before they die. And if you have a team that's behind you in the back line, so you're just behind the tanks and the back line behind you, can really deal that damage from a long way away. People like Nova, people like Reyna, people like Kel'Thas, and people like Jaina kind of work, and you can get away with people like Valor as well because of the way his ults work, and I'll talk about them when we hit level 10 in the game. But his weaknesses come really in the early game. The early game, as you know, ends around about level 10-ish, depending on when you get level 10. And at that point, the outcome of the game isn't decided by any means, but the next few minutes of the game are going to be decided. And Uther, he comes across, and he is to me at least, is a very good hero at really pushing a lead when you have one. And when you don't have one, it can be surprisingly difficult to actually win a team fight unless you go for very, very specific builds in which to do that. And as you can see here, when he's soloing in lane, he can have a surprisingly difficult time actually dealing with things. Now that was my fault. I shouldn't have been so aggressive when it was a 2-on-1 situation. And yeah, it was my fault that I died there, but as you can see, he can be killed quite easily, and I almost managed to get a 2 or a 1.25, which would have been for 1, which would have been worth it, but I didn't in the end. Sonny got away on a couple of HP, which again, if I turned around and auto-tow at the last second, he probably would have been able to get the kill, but you're not to know that. But this is the problem that Uther has. He can go roaming, and I actually think it's kind of good to roam him. Because you can just get some crazy early kills, and as you see, if someone roams to his lane, he can drop off a stun and get a really quick kill. That's one of the real strengths when you have a roamer on your team. With Uther, you can just throw a stun down, get the heal. They can come up to your lane, and then you can heal them up afterwards, so they can go and roam somewhere else. It's really, really, really strong. And as you get further and further into the game, those strengths just amplify really. So, as you can see now, because of that kill, I'm in a 1-on-1 versus Murky. Again, I really, really don't like Uther on his own. I think as Uther, you're not good on your own at all, and you should always, 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 I don't care what you're doing, I don't care how you're doing it, but you should always be with someone. Don't care who it is. It can be a tank, it can be another healer, it can be an assassin, doesn't matter, just with someone. Make sure that you get a little bit more help. It just means that you don't die instantly. It takes a little while before you die. Which sounds a little bit stupid, but in that little while you're going to get kills and you're going to really, things are going to change, so it's really worth it in my opinion. One of the things that he's surprisingly good at is holding positions. So as you can see here, I'm just kind of trying to get them away from the tribute as much as possible to get my team position on it before we really commit to a fight here. And I do so rather well. The Butcher does manage to get the click on it, but trading the first tribute for a kill at this stage of the game is probably worth it. Unfortunately, we didn't quite pick up the kill, and I have to go on the retreat here to kind of deal with it. Now, Rexar's been focused by the Butcher, but because of the healing I got, it means the Butcher can't actually commit to this kill, and as a result, we managed to pick off the Lily, and the Misha's just going crazy. Managed to get the Butcher as well, and looks like Murky might die. Unfortunately, Rexar does get incredibly low and does back off, and Misha can't really protect him too well because of the situation he was in, so they managed to get away. But that was a 2-kill for 1 kill, and now we've actually clawed back the little bit of experience that we were losing and really pushed it into a lead. And although we gave up the tribute, which can come back to bite us in a little while. Oh yeah, at this point, like this looks really, really, really bad. But at this point, my whole computer was lagging out. Like my whole computer just froze. Like I'm not being bad at video games. My whole computer just entirely seized. I don't know what happened. It happens a little bit later in the late game, so I'm not being bad. There was nothing personal there. I swear I wasn't being BM or anything. I swear my whole computer just seized for some reason. I'm not entirely sure what happened. It looks really bad. I'm sorry, but this is only a quick match game, so I didn't like lose any ranks or cost anyone any ranks or anything like that. So, At this stage, we have another little skirmish in. Now, this is a really good situation for Uther to be in, but unfortunately, the Zeratul runs away from me as opposed to towards me, so it means I can't get any heals on him, and the Rexar is body blocking me, which makes it incredibly difficult for me to do my job. But they are incredibly low, and Uther is surprisingly devastating when it comes to finishing off low people. Not because he can actually just kill the damage, but because the stuns and little bits of damage that he can throw off, coupled with the healing, means that he's going to get some few kills that he shouldn't otherwise get. This is unfortunate, because the amount of HP they had, I would have loved Rexar to appear a little bit earlier. Now, again, that is kind of my fault for not backing up earlier. I mean, we managed to get the Murky, so it's not worth it at all, but, I mean, we managed to get the Murky. So it's not a good situation at the moment. As you can see in terms of the kills, which you look up in the top there, we are behind a quarter of a kill. Which doesn't sound like a lot, when it's almost half a level going towards level 10, it is actually quite a big deal. Now, the tribute spawns down here, which is kind of interesting. So, Nazeebo's dead, and again, I'm not really trying to cast this game too well, so a little trade happened down here. It was a 1-for-1. Which is alright. But what this means is that the bottom lane no longer is secured, and because we have slightly more aggressive heroes and slightly higher health in the form of Zeratul, we can really start to press his advantage a little bit. Now, unfortunately here, the Zeratul allows him to get one tick of the Butcher's Brand off, which is enough to not win him that trade. Of course, as you see, he walked away with less HP. But back on top lane, here's kind of a little bit of the example of what Uther can do. So what happened there, I remember this actually, because I have a great memory. What happened there was they tried to dive me and I stunned them under tower and really forced them a lot of damage with an Abathar on me, and I tried to secure a few kills. Unfortunately, with the power that Sonya brings, in terms of Whirlwind and Seismic Slam, it's incredibly difficult for me to actually do anything like that. This is really dumb. I tried to click it to kill it, because when I had the Abathar on me, with the 25% increased attack speed, I can actually take those pufferfish out. Without 25, I can't. So I could have killed it, but I just couldn't click it in time. And yeah, I'm just bad at video games in general. But the problem now is that the Abathar is kind of... Let's see, I'll look it off there as well. God damn it. See, the problem now is the Abathar's in kind of an exposed position, and because the Merc is just sitting in this lane and knows Abathar here, he's not going to do much to kind of leave him alone, which is understandable. Now, at this point, I'm kind of in, do I protect the Abathar and try and kill the Murky, or do I go down there and help them? To be honest, it's probably a bad decision for me not to go down there and help them, but I don't know how much help I would have actually been. And because we have one up, and it's not a kind of a 2v1 situation, it is kind of worth it in my opinion. Now, if Misha was a little bit closer, I do imagine she would have been able to get a beast charge off, and luckily it turns out that she does, and then it managed to get a little bit of damage. I didn't commit there for two reasons. One, because if I had been there, it wouldn't. There was no way neither of those two, with the Rexar, Misha, or Zeratul, were going to be. We're going to get low enough, quick enough for my healing to be worth it for me to be there. And there was no way my damage would have done much. All I would have been is a body getting in the way of Misha or Zeratul or someone, just something silly like that. So I really, really didn't want to do that. Now the problem with this position is when I'm being aggressively pushed and the minion waves are spread out as they are, it's actually really difficult for me to get efficient abilities off to actually try and deal with them. But now we have the important tribute. It's 2-all, and of course the first team to 3 wins. So now this is the important one. I really, really like this positioning that we get ourselves into here. The Zeratul gets a little bit aggressive, but it forces them to go on the back foot a little bit. We get really lucky with the spawn here, and the Butcher gets caught out. Now the Jug of 1,000 Cups and the brand here is kind of good, because it means that, but I do manage to, it's kind of good because it means he just gets a lot of damage off. But I managed to Divine Shield myself, and I try and keep the Zeratul alive. Unfortunately, my Holy Light was on about half a second being off from being able to come up again. But the Zevo's coming in, and with the Zevo's ult here, he's going to do a lot of damage, but unfortunately they aren't up yet. The Void Prison is still up, and as you can see here, just with allowing to extend the fight out a little bit more, getting the people to come in when they really need to, and really managing to pull off a lot of value out of that. So the problem here is they have a Mercury, which means they can continuously run at our person who's trying to collect it until he kind of gives. But luckily for us, we managed to get him off his mount and throw the pufferfish before just committing to the slime, which you should never do if you're trying to interrupt. Pufferfish takes 3 seconds for it to go off, slime doesn't. So never try and do that. Little pro tip there. But he does manage to bubble and get away. Now this time I'm just going to hearth back, so I'm going to focus on someone else for a little while. So if you look at Rexar, I'm going to talk about Rexar because he's the newest hero. He's good. The CC he has really allows you to really churn out a lot of CC incredibly quickly. I don't know enough about Rexar to really comment about this, but I know he was fixed, considerably fixed recently. He had all those bugs with the globes not stacking and the range disappearing and all other kind of thing. Oh, we managed to get a nice little kill down here. The Sonya was going for our boss, cheeky, and then we just managed to kill her off without just dead. Now Abathar still hasn't picked his ult. Now I imagine this is because there is some bugs or glitches when you are playing Abathar the choose your talent thing doesn't continuously remind you to choose your talent when you're on someone else. So he just kind of hopes that he gets level 13 before he picks his ult, and just hopes no one realizes. And no one did. I just realized that just now. Actually, I think I realized it in the game a little bit when it was like level 12 or something. Doesn't matter. So now I'm in mid lane with the curse up. We can kind of afford to be a little bit cheeky here. What I would have liked to have done in that curse is be more concentrated on one lane. We didn't get a single thought out of it. Instead, all we managed to get out of it was a few walls and level 13s, so we gained a little bit in experience. Nowhere near enough. I'm really happy with this little play here. So I wait for him to come into me, and then I wait for him to use Butcher's Brand on me, pop the Shrink Ray so he gets little to no healing off. Then when he charges me, I put a Divine Shield up on myself. I wanted to put it up on myself just before, just in case he had some form of crazy damage that I didn't know about, and then I managed to get the kill. It cost me my ult, which is pretty bad for the 70-second ult, but getting a kill at this point is really, really useful. And because of this, we force Sonya away from the boss. And we can force another fight here if we so need. To take a little bit of encouragement. I really don't like doing this when we don't have a little bit more of an edge in this situation, especially when the team's not here. But the team does decide that this is a good idea, and as a result, pings and pings and pings of all sorts, and eventually we start getting some interest from some of the other team, and we can look to maybe get a pick on someone. Sonya's incredibly low, so if we can get a pick on her, that will be very, very, very nice. But Jug of 1,000 Cups comes out early. This is just going to be to heal Sonya up. I'm not sure how useful this is. What I really like here is how we stay off the boss. When none of us attack the boss, we make it difficult for them to get the boss as possible, and then as soon as we get it, our Zeratul, with the best play of the whole game, blinks onto the point so they can't get it. And now we're in a hold-up position against ranged champions, and we are in the best spot we can be in. When we're in that situation, we have Zeratul, we have Misha, we have Uther, we have all kinds, and then we have Uther, who all just runs into the Butcher, tries to face take a bush, because he's so confident, you know, we just got the boss, there's no way I'm dying, and then ends up giving up 2 kills. Well, 1 kill, because our Zeratul's really, really good at this game, apparently. So, we did pretty well there, but yeah, that was me being bad, and not getting a kill that although I should have got. So it's really quite cool there to go into that kind of situation of, hey, look, we can do this if everyone comes here, and then the people arriving at the perfect time. I wasn't comfortable doing that. I think it showed in the way I didn't really commit to that. But once I saw the Zeratul coming in, I thought, and then the Zevo a little bit later, I really thought that we could push for this. So the problem with Uther, in my opinion, and I really like Uther, I really wanted to heal this guy. I was so far away from him. I was rooting for him the whole time. Look how low he gets. Anyway, the problem with Uther, I think, and this is a real big problem I have with Uther at the moment, a lot of people really like this. I don't. He has too many abilities. He ends up having like 8 abilities or so. Now, I understand that some people say, well, League of Legends champions have 8 abilities. Yeah, but they have access to 4 of them at a time. Uther has access to all of them at the same time. So he has Protect Shield, which is 1, Cleanse, which is 2, Shrink, which is 3, and then Benediction, which is 4, is a separate ability, even though you have to stack it with another ability. So as a result, you've got these 8 spells to keep in mind. Now, all of them have long cooldowns, the shortest cooldown of which is 10 seconds. Everything else is above that, so once you kind of go bleh and use them all, that's it, for at least 10 seconds, and even when that 10 seconds is up, you've only got a stun. You need to wait another 2 seconds before you can start getting some healing out, and then you have to wait another like 20 seconds, which of course you're going to get your other abilities up then, before you're going to start doing anything else. So, it takes a while for you to do anything. This is a really silly play from this Butcher, because if he didn't reveal himself there was no way I would have known that they were coming down here. Well, I did sense something was wrong, but I wouldn't have known about it. I don't understand how she avoided that stun, but I don't really care about it. I put the Divine Shield on the Rexar, and then I managed to heal myself up just enough. I managed to force a dive, and forcing a dive in this situation isn't bad. We have minions, we have teams coming in. Now, unfortunately, this is a really good Devouring Maw, not because it hits a lot of people, but just because it manages to block me off. Now, I want to get around here. I want to be over here somewhere behind the Rexar, but I just can't get there in time. And as a result, I'm in a really awkward spot, and it means the Rexar gets bursted down incredibly quickly. Jug of 1,000 Cups still up, of course, because it is only stasis you are in. You're not stunned for that duration. And then Lily does do a really silly dive here, and allows us to take back a little bit more value than we otherwise would have. I tried to force the dive and tried to force the value out of it. Zeratul doesn't lead me to my death, which she should have done. And then Sonya just doing whatever the hell she wants, really manages to get a few kills there. And that's where we lose a lot of the gains that we've made over the past few battles, and we're going to lose this tribute because we're all dead, and so that means that Abathur manages to get, Abathur can't hold it on his own, so Murky manages to get it, and that means we have to deal with now a cursed creep push, and there's going to be at least 10 seconds that they have, or maybe just under 10 seconds, where they are 4 men up, which is awful. Absolutely awful. They do the kind of clever thing, I would say, which is press the lead as much as they can, using the downtime to their advantage and really getting the boss. But at this point, especially for Uther, it's actually surprisingly difficult to do anything. So you'd be amazed how important it is for Uther's positioning to be on point. Now, a lot of people don't like the position I take, so if this was a team fight here and Abathur was the backline, I'd want to be like here, just behind the tanks. And a lot of people don't like that because it means that when you cast your Holy Radiance, your W, which is a skill shot in a line, you only hit people that are in front of you or behind you. You don't hit them both, which of course some heroes like Charism, they'll be able to hit them both. But I think that's kind of a necessary sacrifice in order to secure just kind of better all-round healing. It means that you're in a better position to cast Holy Light, to cast Stuns, to cast Divine Shield, to get all 4 of your other abilities off. And that's really what's important, is making the most out of those and not getting the most out of half an ability, hitting it twice as often or not. Now, this is where it gets annoying. Because they have Ice Block, I'm trying to put like Divine Shields on Divine Shields and all kinds of stuff. And I managed to put Divine Shields on people and it just doesn't work. As you can see, it's just gone on, went on cooldown about 10 seconds ago, and it didn't really do that much, which is a real shame. And then the Abathur Ultimate Evolution's me. Not sure how wise of a decision that is. The healing isn't really too much of a problem here. It's just going to be a situation where whoever's getting focused either dies or doesn't, which sounds stupid, but there are quite a lot of situations where if you have 2 healers, you can just about keep them alive. This stun here is great. A 4-man stun that really allows us to get a good position, if only for half a second. We do lose Zeratul, or we lose Zeratul at the start of this, so we can't really capitalise on it. But if we had a little bit more, we might have been able to do a little bit more with it. Now they're trying to dive the core, which with no advantage they really can't do. Pinging for retreat here. Zima needs to be very careful, he doesn't overextend. And this is where Uther can start to feel weak. When you're losing, or just slightly behind, and you don't have a tank, a real, like, I wouldn't class Rexar as a kind of a standard tank, where to be fair to him, he is doing an incredibly good job tanking this game, but he's a very difficult tank to kind of deal with. So this is greedy from them. I do quite like it though. The greedy plays aren't necessarily always the bad ones. The Sonya does have Wrath of the Berserker up, which means she's going to be incredibly difficult to kill. But this is the ultimate greed play here. You know that they're coming for you, and you know that you've just done an incredibly greedy play. Why would you go for the greedy kill as well as this? All it's going to do is cost your life, and that's eventually what it costs her. And that, at this level, is really bad because they've just got 20s, so they really want to be forcing as many team fights as possible. And getting a kill just means that their window when they can force those team fights is drastically shortened. Now, I have a sixth sense that they're on the boss here, but as I said at the start of the game, Uther should always be with someone, and I'm not with anyone. This current few seconds of play that you're watching here are not how you play Uther, and this is me playing it. So like, I'm by no means good at this game at all. But you really need to be with someone at all times. You'll be amazed just the power spike that you feel you have when Uther and anyone else go around together as both Uther and the other one and someone else. The stuns and the heals allow for so much synergy with basically anyone. Obviously there are some heroes that synergizes better with than others, but overall you're going to feel much stronger. And as Uther, it can struggle to feel like you're making any form of difference whatsoever. Go around with someone. You'll feel so much better about it. Yeah, that's one of the biggest pieces of advice I'll give to anyone. But especially if you're playing Uther, and anyone playing a sport, but especially if you're playing Uther, go around with someone. Players like Charism and even Rhaegar to some extent can really get some value if they go around on their own with some lunges and with some stuns and wave clears and whatever. But Uther really can't. He's got a little bit of wave clear and a little bit of stun, yeah, but because he just has no damage to back it up, like no damage at all, it's really difficult for him to really do anything with it. So always go around with someone. I'd probably recommend going around with a stunny assassin, or a slowy assassin. Someone like Jaina I think is absolutely perfect because of her surprisingly close range. She's always going to be in range of your heals, and you can just throw down an ability, which means that you can then get off a quick, or you can throw down a stun, which means you get a quick everything really. So this is a really bad engage from them. The angle that they're at is kind of awkward. Now the stasis again, I was ready to cleanse it, I was ready to put Divine Shield on it. He put the everyone gets poked thing. Now I'm trying to get a see, it's so awkward here because my Divine Shield's like off cooldown because I cast it on the Zebo, but it didn't do anything on the Zebo because he activated his Ice Block like 2 seconds afterwards. It's really awkward the way that stuff works. So I managed to kill the Butcher here, and I'm just like, oh, okay, I have Shrink Ray. You know, I'm not very good at this character, so it's really quite difficult for me to play this character. I genuinely find this character quite difficult to play. But I think, oh, I have Shrink Ray. Sonya's wrecking our backline. Maybe I should cast it on someone. It's probably my fault. In fact, I would take full responsibility for the fact that the game is this close. We should be much further ahead here, but in the team fights, I'm not producing the numbers. I'm not producing the kind of the plays that I need to be producing. And at this point, I put myself in a weird quandary. I shouldn't be on my own anywhere, and then I find myself on my own. Like, where should I go? And then I think, should I go up top? No, Merc is dead. Let's go back to the boss. Oh no, what if he comes back? all kinds of stuff, and I'm really just not playing very well here. So at this point I commit to helping him. I'm just like, alright, let's go help him. I can't take it on one anyway. Then he manages to get it, and then I'm like, right, let's go down. So for the past like 40 seconds I've just been running about in mid lane doing nothing. You know, there's nothing wrong with evaluating your own replays, but you have to understand where you're playing badly. And I'm playing badly in the fact that I'm not using my shields, I'm not using my shrink ray, my cleanse play isn't reactive enough, it's too solid. I'm too like, oh, okay, I'm going to cleanse a charge, I'm going to cleanse this, I'm going to cleanse that. I should be cleansing Octograb, and I'm not. I'm just kind of cleansing it on another ability which isn't as important as Octograb, and as a result I'm kind of costing people their life. And that's quite a good Divine Shield. It means that Zeratul can run back, but you shouldn't chase them. I should be healing everyone else, but there isn't really anyone else to heal, so it's fine. The fact that there's a 3-man route here is devastating, and I'm just like, right, let's just keep Murky away, because if Murky manages to land an Octograb in that, with the stun that will follow it, means that it's just absolutely devastating. Great zoning here from the Zevo. Really forcing him away really, really efficiently. And at this point, Uther needs to be, or I need to be playing as Uther, and I need to be kind of just behind them or with my team, and that's exactly what I'm doing. At this point my concentration really took a kind of an increase, and I really thought, right, this is how we win this game. This is how we really do the best we can. So it's a little bit awkward here now. I'm sitting in front of the Zeratul, but I just saw the Murky Egg and I was like, right, this is too good. Now for the next 15 seconds it's a 4v5, or at least it should be, or for the next significantly longer than that it's going to be a 4v5. So it's worth it for them to just back off here and not take any, or it's significantly worth it for us to either get one of these two in a kill, or not. And Murky dies, and that means that we have him out of the game for a minute, and we manage to get the tribute as well, which is just so good for us. Now Lily here gets very, very cheeky, and she almost pays for it. And if I was a little bit more on point with my stuns that weren't on, if I had a stun and I caught her with it, she would have died, no question about that. So that would have been really, really nice for us to pick up, but unfortunately we didn't manage to pick that up. But at this point we can kind of be a little bit cheeky, and we can all our minions are going to shove. And we can really take some aggressive mercenary camps, which is just so difficult for them to deal with during the curse. And if we continuously push another lane, or even the same lane, when the curse ends, it's going to be incredible. It's going to be really, really nice for us to retreat through. Or at the very least, it's going to make their defenders' advantage significantly less. So, where am I? I'm right in the middle of this. I'm just behind the Misha, which is so awkward to deal with, because do you stand behind Rexar or do you stand behind Misha? The answer is, you stand wherever the hell you want. You stand somewhere in the middle. Now, Nazeebo's getting awfully low, and I have none of my heals on cooldown. That is because I had bad management of those. Forces him to use Ice Block. I then cast the Divine Shield on myself. When I should cast it on someone else. I managed to lock down on the Zeratul with some heals, and I managed to stun the Butcher before he does, stun Sonya before she does incredible amounts of damage. And she tries to get away and doesn't quite manage it. And then at this point, it's kind of like, right, who do we kill? It's very nice there from me, I have to admit, just taking out both pufferfish before they can do anything. It's a very nice bit of play, well done. And then you just kind of got to try and score some chases. I'm obviously not going to be too greedy. No one else goes for the chase. I'm definitely not going to go for it on my own. I'm going to get one keep. Now, whatever the team wants to do, I'll do it. And this keep has like no HP, and of course I'm staying with the tank because the tank's the least likely to die, and he's going to score some money CC, so we can do some really good work here. Now I shouldn't be attacking this, should be down here healing everyone up, because if the team fight happens now in the next 10 seconds or so, and I can't save someone's life with Holy Light, that's my fault for attacking that cannon too long. There you go, little things like that. Misha's getting awfully low, but again, if Misha dies, it's not really too much of a big deal. And this is where I disagree with Rexar's play. He goes in and tries to take the keep. I disagree, I think we should retreat. With me being on high health and relatively high mana, I think I need to at least try and go in and save him. Managed to get a decent angle, he manages to score the Murky, but the Hunter Killer is after him, so I just secure the safety with a little bit of healing there, and I think that's really quite nice play from the whole team all around. Didn't lose anyone, managed to get 2 keeps and significantly damage the third, all the while giving up 0 kills. Which is very nice play all round there. So now the boss is up, and we know the boss is up, and this is really nice play from our Zeratul here. Just knows that Sonya's there, we know that Sonya's there. That was really dumb spiders. If those spiders weren't there, it would have caught her completely by surprise, and a little bit more stun would have come down, and we might have been able to secure the kill a little bit easier. Jug of 1,000 Cups, just out of range for a few seconds, does force the Void Prison though, but she's going to get heals, and the Zeratul with a little bit of overextend does die, and I could have maybe saved him with the Divine Shield. I think I was actually trying to Divine Shield, but it was just out of range, and I actually felt a little bad for it at the time. Then I get got by the Devouring Maw, which shouldn't have really been got by, but that means I'm going to get a little bit of healing coming out. Good Bolt of the Storm away there, and I'm trying to get to the Zebra, but the zombies just body blocking me in, and I think, right, if I can't heal them, I might as well kill the guys trying to kill them. And I try and get in, die, but of course you have to remember I am level 20 now, and I did take Redemption, so I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm thinking, right, let's spend this 10 seconds and hit everyone up. Everyone gets to max. Everyone gets as max or as close to max as possible. And then, hey-oh, I'm back. And then a little bit of stun, a little bit of shot, double stun, and then they're dead. That's the power of Redemption. You have to be aware of this. You have to know your character inside out. and I don't. I have a lot of fun playing Uther. I think Uther's probably the best looking hero in the game with that with the new skin. But I think he's not my best hero, not by a long shot. He's just super fun to play. So one of the messages I want to get across to everyone in this video and a few other videos is, if you like a hero but you don't feel you're very good at that hero, don't worry, just play the hero. If you really are uncomfortable with that hero, like you've never played that hero before, play some AI games, play them in try mode, do whatever you want, but don't, I would say, go into a quick match or a Hero League game, especially not a Hero League game, with a hero that you've never played before. It's not going to be fun for you, and you're going to get an unfair opinion on how good or bad that hero actually is, which is just not fun for anyone. Look up some guides if you really want to take that hero seriously. If you don't, just play him in AI mode. You'll have fun with it. But one of the other things that I've started doing, and I think a lot of people should start doing, is look at your wins and your losses, especially if they're on the same character on the same day, and look at how you play them differently. And try and draw parallels with, like, if you're on the same map, be like, oh hey, I was here for this team fight and here for this team fight. Oh hey, I did this during this team fight and this during this team fight. And see what you do differently and how they equate to wins or losses as the day goes on. Really give that a go. And of course I would say try Uther, and if you want, which I think everyone should want, get the Judgment skin, which you can't see because the winning logo is in the way, but it's a really cool looking skin. Yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. I have Mr. G. I hope this has been helpful for someone, a kind of a casual cast. Let's just chat for a little while. And I'll see you guys next time.